1. Romero Games shutdown, Microsoft cuts funding, 100+ jobs lost. 2. Romero Games closure, Microsoft's role in layoffs and lost FPS project gaming industry news. 3. Romero Games layoffs, the impact of Microsoft's funding cuts. 4. Doom Legend studio shut down. John Romero's game dev empire falls apart. 1. Romero Games shutdown, Microsoft cuts funding, 100+ jobs lost. Imagine pouring your heart and soul into a project for years, only to have it abruptly cancelled, leaving you and your colleagues jobless overnight. This is the harsh reality that over 100 employees of Galway-based Romero Games are now facing after the studio's sudden shutdown due to a funding cut. But here's where it gets controversial. The decision to pull the plug was made by a major publisher, widely believed to be Microsoft, which had been supporting the studio's ambitious new first-person shooter game. The studio, founded in 2015 by industry veterans Brenda and John Romero, had been working diligently on this project, hitting every milestone on time. So, what went wrong? And this is the part most people miss. The studio's financial health was actually quite strong, with significant profits reported in recent years. However, those earnings were tied to project-based contracts, and without ongoing publishing support, the company found itself unable to continue operations. The abrupt closure has left a global workforce unemployed, including staff in Galway, Dublin, Sweden, the United States, Australia, and South Africa. The news came as a shock to many, with one anonymous staff member describing the situation as a big shock. "Everyone is out of a job," they said. "We had meetings with the publisher the day before this happened, and there was no mention of it. We were being told we were making great progress. So this came completely out of the blue." The team had suspected something might be coming given recent layoffs at Microsoft, but felt their project was far enough along to be safe. "It seemed so far away for us," the employee explained. The title was pretty well developed at the time. Romero Games was working under contract with the publisher, and now has no remaining funds to continue operations. "We're trying to find other ways of funding the project," the employee added. "But for now, it's completely closed, and the studio is closed." The sudden announcement has taken an emotional toll on the staff, the worker said. "It's not just about losing the job. In this kind of work, you leave a little part of your soul in what you're doing," the staff member explained. "For people not to be able to share what they did, it's frustrating. It was work we were very proud of. For some people, it was years of their lives." Romero Games was known for Empire of Sin, a 1920s strategy title published by Paradox Interactive in 2020. In July 2022, the studio announced that it had begun work on a new original project, a AAA, major-budget, first-person shooter built in Unreal Engine 5, a cutting-edge game development platform used for creating high-end visuals and immersive gameplay. The unnamed title was being developed in collaboration with a major publisher, now widely believed to be Microsoft, and was said to be progressing well before the abrupt cancellation. John Romero, co-founder of the company, is a celebrated figure in the industry, having helped create genre-defining titles like Doom and Wolfenstein 3D. The latest accounts for Romero Games Ltd show strong financial performance, with profits of €1.5 million in 2024 and €1.2 million in 2023, according to Business Plus. However, those earnings were tied to project-based contracts, and with no ongoing publishing support, the company was unable to continue. The Financial Services Union, through its Game Workers Unite Ireland branch, described the closure as a devastating blow, and said it was reaching out to affected staff. This again shows the precarity in the sector, where even high-performing, well-regarded teams can be wiped out at short notice because of decisions far beyond their control, a spokesperson said. Brenda Romero said the company is now focusing on helping affected employees find new opportunities. "Many of us have worked together for more than a decade, some for over 20 years, she said. "We are incredibly proud of the work being done and of the talented team behind it. The best we've worked with. Readers like you are keeping these stories free for everyone. A mix of advertising and supporting contributions helps keep paywalls away from valuable information like this article. Over 5,000 readers like you have already stepped up and support us with a monthly payment or a once-off donation." But let's dive deeper into the controversy. Why would a major publisher like Microsoft pull the plug on a project that was reportedly progressing well? And what does this say about the stability of the gaming industry? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the publisher made the right decision, or was this a missed opportunity? How can the industry better support developers in such situations? 2. Romero Games closure, Microsoft's role in layoffs and lost FPS project gaming industry news. In a shocking turn of events, Romero Games has officially closed its doors, leaving over 100 employees without jobs, just one day after a meeting with Microsoft where no indication of this decision was given. This closure marks a significant loss in the gaming industry, particularly for the studio founded by renowned developers John and Brenda Romero, known for their work on iconic titles like Doom and Wizardry 8. According to reports from the journal.ie and VGC, the studio was in the midst of developing a first-person shooter, FPS, when the funding was abruptly withdrawn by its publisher, believed to be Microsoft. This decision is part of a broader trend of layoffs and studio closures within the tech giant, which recently announced a staggering 9,000 job cuts. A former employee shared with the journal.ie that the team had met with the publisher just a day prior to the funding cut, expressing disbelief that there was no mention of any impending issues. "We were told we were making great progress," the employee stated, highlighting the shock felt by the team. Despite concerns about Microsoft's recent layoffs, the employee felt their project was secure, saying, "It seemed so far away from us." The title was pretty well developed at the time. While Romero Games directly employed 42 individuals, the total number of those impacted by the funding cut, including external contractors, exceeded 100. The studio's previous project, Empire of Sin, released in 2020, received mixed reviews, with some critics noting its potential but ultimately rating it poorly. However, it did receive a surprise expansion recently, indicating that there was still interest in the studio's work. In contrast, the studio's unofficial Doom expansions, Sigil and Sigil 2, released in 2018 and 2023 respectively, were well received and added to the legacy of the Doom franchise. If Romero Games' upcoming FPS had been able to capture the same design excellence as Sigil, it could have been a modern classic. Before the funding cut, Romero Games had been ramping up its social media presence, including a Twitch series called FPS Fridays, where John Romero showcased various FPS games. This indicates that the studio was preparing for a significant announcement, making the closure even more unexpected. Despite the current situation, there remains a glimmer of hope. A former employee mentioned, "We're trying to find other ways of funding the project," although they acknowledged that the studio is currently closed. Interestingly, there have been instances in the past where studios have been revived after similar funding issues, such as Tango Gameworks, which was brought back by Krafton after being shut down by Microsoft. As the gaming community processes this news, it raises important questions about the stability of the industry and the impact of corporate decisions on creative teams. What do you think about the precarious nature of game development? Is there a way to protect talented teams from such abrupt closures? Share your thoughts in the comments below. 3. Romero Games layoffs, the impact of Microsoft's funding cuts. Imagine waking up one day to find out that your entire team has been laid off due to a corporate decision far beyond your control. This is exactly what happened at Romero Games, the studio co-founded by legendary game designer John Romero and his wife Brenda Romero. But here's where it gets controversial: the layoffs came as a shock, despite the studio's consistent success and positive feedback on their project. An insider at Romero Games broke the news on LinkedIn, stating, "Today I found out our whole studio is being let go because of the layoffs at Microsoft." Another former employee expressed deep sorrow, describing it as a very sad day, and a heartbreaking loss of a dream job and an exceptional team. Over a dozen employees have since confirmed their situation on LinkedIn, indicating they are now searching for new opportunities. Romero Games officially acknowledged the loss of funding just hours after the initial reports surfaced. In a statement, Brenda Romero, the studio director, revealed that the company's financial backer had decided to withdraw support for the project, along with several other unannounced games at different studios. The timing couldn't be worse, coming right after Microsoft's massive layoffs, which affected various Xbox studios and led to the cancellation of multiple titles, including the highly anticipated Everwild and a reboot of Perfect Dark. Brenda Romero emphasized that this decision was made at a high level within the publishing company, well outside the studio's influence. She noted that Romero Games had met all milestones and received glowing reviews, making the sudden turn of events even more devastating. John Romero, expressing his own disappointment, shared the news on social media, praising the team as the best he had ever worked with. For now, Romero Games is focused on supporting its team through this difficult period. They are actively seeking new opportunities and have appealed to the gaming community for assistance. The studio's recent projects, such as Sigil and Empire of Sin, showcased their creativity and talent. The new project, a first-person shooter built on Unreal Engine 5, had been shrouded in mystery but was generating significant buzz in the industry. This situation raises important questions about the stability of the gaming industry and the impact of high-level corporate decisions on smaller, innovative studios. And this is the part most people miss: the ripple effects of such layoffs can stifle creativity and innovation, potentially leading to the loss of groundbreaking projects. What do you think? Should large publishers be held accountable for the collateral damage caused by their strategic decisions? Share your thoughts in the comments. 4. Doom Legend Studio shut down. John Romero's game dev empire falls apart. It's a harsh reality in the gaming world. Even legendary creators aren't immune to studio closures. Romero Games, the studio founded by industry icon John Romero, a key architect of the original Doom, has reportedly ceased operations after losing its funding. This news has sent ripples through the gaming community, leaving over 100 developers unexpectedly unemployed. The initial reports surfaced via LinkedIn, where Leslie Stowe, a former technical shader artist at Romero Games, shared the devastating news. She directly attributed the studio's closure to recent layoffs at Microsoft, the believed funding source. This aligns with the broader restructuring happening at Microsoft Gaming, which saw approximately 9,000 employees and at least 13 development teams impacted. It's a stark reminder of the volatile nature of the industry, even for established names. Further corroboration came from The Journal, an Irish news outlet, which spoke with an anonymous former Romero Games employee. This source confirmed the suddenness of the shutdown, stating that the team had been assured of positive progress just the day before. "We were being told we were making great progress. So this came completely out of the blue," they revealed. The project, while well developed, is now on hold as the team explores alternative funding options, though the studio itself is currently closed. Brenda Romero, John's wife and co-founder of the studio, offered a statement to The Journal, emphasizing that the decision originated at a high level within the publisher, outside of Romero Games' control. And this is the part most people miss: she was clear that the closure wasn't a reflection of the team's performance or the quality of their work. "We hit every milestone on time, every time," she stated, expressing the team's heartbreak over the situation. It highlights the often complex relationship between developers and publishers, where creative vision can sometimes be overshadowed by business decisions. Currently, Romero Games hasn't released an official statement confirming the shutdown. However, if the reports from Stowe and The Journal are accurate, this marks a significant turning point in John Romero's career. It would represent the closure of 8 out of 9 game development studios he's either founded or co-founded, leaving only ID Software, the birthplace of Doom, as his remaining successful venture. Throughout its nearly decade-long existence, Romero Games delivered 2 full titles, Gunman Taco Truck and Empire of Sin. They also created Sigil and Sigil 2, unofficial expansions for Doom that were later officially recognized by Bethesda. Unfortunately, neither Gunman Taco Truck nor Empire of Sin achieved widespread commercial success. Empire of Sin received mixed reviews from both critics and players, currently holding a Metacritic score that reflects a generally mediocre reception, and Gunman Taco Truck peaked at a surprisingly low concurrent player count of just 19 on Steam, not 19,000, but 19. Speculation is rife on social media regarding the reasons behind Microsoft's decision. Some suggest the studio's lack of blockbuster releases in nearly 10 years played a crucial role. But here's where it gets controversial: is it fair to judge a studio, especially one led by a legendary figure, solely on commercial success? Or should innovation and creative risk-taking be valued even if they don't translate into massive sales? Without official statements from either Romero Games or Microsoft, these remain unconfirmed theories. What do you think about the closure of Romero Games? Do you believe Microsoft made the right decision, or was this a short-sighted move that stifled creativity? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective on this challenging situation.